are a lot of ways to process photos in Photoshop, but not everyone uses Photoshop in the most efficient way. In this tutorial, you'll learn common mistakes photographers make and why you should avoid it. Mistake number 1. Creating too many layers. One of the most common Photoshop mistakes is creating too many layers. For example, here is an effect created with lots of layers. It might look professional to friends or clients who don't know Photoshop, but there's nothing professional about it. When you have too many layers, your document becomes unnecessarily complicated and unorganized. You'll find yourself turning off and on layers just to figure out which one you should edit. Here's the same effect created with much fewer layers. You can minimize the layers you have by using adjustment layers, like the tone curves, which can replace many other adjustment layers. Another way to reduce layers is to use smart objects, which brings us to the next item. Mistake number 2. Not using smart objects. Many people just keep creating layer after layer every time they want to do something. Although this is technically non-destructive editing because you have a backup of your original layer, if you want to change something, you have to delete the layer and do it all over again. This is where smart objects become useful. Smart objects are advanced layers that can remember your settings. For example, you can apply filters to smart objects and they'll appear as fully editable smart filters in your Layers panel. You can change the settings, change the blending modes, and even rearrange the order of your filter stack. This reduces the amount of layers and future-proofs your document. Smart objects also preserve the image quality, so you can resize it as many times as you like, and it'll still look sharp. There's a lot more benefits to using smart objects, but the key thing is to get in the habit of using it. Mistake number 3. Using the wrong document settings. There's a lot of myths about DPI and color mode in the photography world. First of all, changing the DPI won't make your photo sharper. A photo that's 5,000 pixels wide at 72 DPI will be the same quality as a photo that's also 5,000 pixels wide, but at 300 DPI. What matters is the pixel dimensions, not the DPI. Another myth is that you should always convert your photos into CMYK mode before printing. This has worse results than keeping your image in RGB mode. Nearly all printers have color profiles specifically formulated for their ink. You'll get more accurate results letting the printer convert your image into CMYK mode than doing it beforehand in Photoshop. Mistake number 4. Unnecessary luminosity masking. Luminosity masking is an awesome technique to make a layer affect specific tonal ranges, but sometimes it's already built into the tool or filter. For example, the color balance adjustment already lets you make adjustments in the shadows, midtones, or highlights. Same with the tone curve. For example, if you don't want it to affect the shadows, instead of using luminosity masking, just keep the line straight in the shadows. If you want to sharpen, just use the Smart Sharpen filter. Unless you need to target a very specific tonal range, the built-in luminosity masking is perfectly fine to use. Mistake number 5. Overprocessing. The final and worst mistake photographers make, aside from retouching every single photo, is overprocessing. Sometimes they apply an effect that looks cool, and they think that adding more of that will make it better. So they add so much that it overpowers the photo. Common things people overprocess are things like vibrancy, HDR looks, faded tones, and frequency separation. Always know what you're trying to achieve and only do what is necessary. Thanks for watching this video. That was a quick overview of common mistakes photographers make. Check the video description for links to helpful Photoshop tutorials we recommend for photographers, and let us know in the comments other mistakes photographers typically make.